Oprah and Diddy used to throw parties together. Now, some people say Oprah should be investigated just like Diddy. I have proof of things they both did, and I plan to give all the evidence to the FBI. Meanwhile, Shannon Sharpe is calling out Diddy, Oprah, and Tyler Perry for trying to cancel his show. Welcome to 2024 Things Are Wild. Thanks for coming back to the channel. I really appreciate all the love and support from you guys. Here's what I'm certain of. When something this huge breaks, and 50 women come forward to speak out, it signals a serious turning point. This is not just another headline, it's a moment that shakes the industry to its core. Even singer Seal jumped in on the conversation, sharing a meme on Instagram that shows Oprah Winfrey kissing Diddy, the disgraced mogul at the center of this storm. The meme bluntly reads, "When you've been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they think you're the solution." That line really captures the public's frustration and suspicion. Now, the big question is, could federal investigators start calling in some of Hollywood's biggest names? We're talking about people like Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Kelly Osbourne, Justin Bieber, and Usher. All of them have been linked, in one way or another, to the parties thrown by Diddy over the years. While attending a party itself isn't a crime, the serious allegations tied to those events have everyone on edge. Many in Hollywood must be feeling anxious, wondering what the investigators know and whether their names could come up during the probe. Diddy's parties were legendary for their wildness and secrecy. But now the spotlight is shining in a much darker way. Reports suggest that some of these gatherings weren't just lavish celebrations, they may have involved criminal activity, including sex crimes. This raises serious questions about who was present, who knew what was going on, and who might have been involved. The investigation is far from over. The federal authorities have made it clear this remains an open and ongoing case. More charges could be filed, and more names could be revealed. It's a tense time in Hollywood, and anyone who was part of that world needs to be prepared for what might come next. So, as this story unfolds, keep your eyes peeled. This is just the beginning of a major reckoning, one that could change the way the industry operates forever. As Shannon Sharpe testifies during Diddy's ongoing trial, tensions are rising in the entertainment world. It's clear Oprah is not happy about this situation. We have a lot of exciting updates coming your way, so stay tuned. Shannon's podcast has blown up, with many big names being mentioned. I'll link the video on Misty's channel in the description, so you can check it out. Let's dive in. People often open up to me because I don't judge them. That's what's upsetting others. Recently, a federal judge denied a defense request for a mistrial in Diddy's trial. Meanwhile, some advice: don't just scroll social media, put it down, turn it off, listen, and learn. Oprah Winfrey, take note. People are finally seeing Oprah for who she really is. I was publicly humiliated for 25 years. Every week, tabloids exploited me. Comedians made jokes at my expense, and I just accepted it, thinking I deserved it. Hollywood just got rocked again, and Shannon Sharpe is right at the center. According to insiders, Shannon's statement sent shockwaves through the industry. What was meant to stay private? That door got kicked wide open. The ripple effect is huge. Word is Shannon may have wanted to keep certain private talks behind the scenes, the kind of hush-hush discussions that never see the light of day. But when it was time to speak out, someone made a bold move. Whether pushed by pressure or standing on principle, Shannon's testimony changed everything. Sources say Oprah is furious. Her inner circle is scrambling to control the damage because things are unraveling fast. Shannon's testimony didn't just reveal new facts, it tore apart a web of secrets that many Hollywood stars hoped would stay hidden. This is more than drama, it's a complete unraveling. If the walls are already cracking, expect more truths to come out. Shannon's podcast, Club Shay Shay, has been booming since the explosive interview with Cat Williams. This year alone, many powerful figures in the industry have been exposed, and not everyone is happy about it. Shannon is now dragging Diddy, Oprah, and Tyler Perry through the mud, accusing them of trying to cancel his show and ruin his life because he refused to take down interviews they didn't like. I need to be honest about how I feel about Oprah Winfrey. This problem between us isn't going away. Until she publicly apologizes, it will stay with me forever. What she did was cruel, intentional, and hurtful, and that's a fact I will carry to the day I die. If Oprah were watching this, what would you say to her? I would tell her straight up, Oprah Winfrey, you know exactly what you need to do. Stop hiding behind excuses like those were just negative comments or I don't get involved in stuff like that. People are starting to see the real you. It's time to be honest. If you think you did something wrong, then say it. But Oprah said, if you think I did something wrong, I want to apologize. Here's the truth, my husband taught me years ago. An apology isn't about what you think. It's about what the other person feels. Oprah acted like she was this motherly figure, saying, if you think I did something wrong. But no, Oprah, it's not what I think. You did do something wrong. You were cruel, and planned to have my parents on your show without telling me. Was it all for ratings? It felt like you were using me. There are women in this business who really stand for something. Regina King and Angela Bassett were there that night. Shannon Sharpe has been on fire since his podcast exploded earlier this year. He's been dropping truth bombs, pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's darkest secrets. No fluff, no filter, just straight talk that's making a lot of powerful people uncomfortable. Now, all eyes are on Oprah again. She already caught heat for her drama with Monique, a controversy people still remember. Now, she's facing new backlash. The timing could not be worse. As Shannon speaks out, digging up what's really been going on behind the scenes, old wounds are reopening. This isn't just one feud or interview anymore. Shannon's voice is sparking conversations many thought were long buried. For Oprah, it's another storm in a year full of public hits. The big question, how long can she stay silent before everything falls apart? Meanwhile, videos of Diddy with Justin Bieber when Bieber was just 15 years old are coming back. The question everyone's asking, why was a 40-year-old man hanging around a 15-year-old? Why didn't anyone see that as a red flag? Listen to what Bieber says in the clip. They were having the time of their lives, but he can't say much about it. Bieber mentions he had legal guardianship over the kid. It's all very troubling. What I know for sure is this. When something this big happens, and 50 women come forward, it's a turning point. It's triggering long-hidden pain, anger, guilt, and suffering for many women. I was on set recently with some actresses who hadn't slept for days because of this. They said they were dealing with PTSD. Everyone has a story. This moment isn't just about Harvey Weinstein anymore. If we limit it to just him, we lose the bigger point. Many women in all industries have felt pressured to keep quiet, to smile, look away, pretend nothing happened, even when they were hurt or touched in the wrong way. Those days are ending. Diddy, being with a 15-year-old raises serious questions. Justin Bieber asked, what is a 40-year-old doing with a 15-year-old? This situation worries a lot of people. Shannon Sharpe now claims he has even more dirt on these people. If they don't back off, he's ready to spill it all. People better sit down and sort this out, because Shannon is serious. Since Shannon's interview with Cat Williams earlier this year, the world has been watching. That interview brought chaos and revealed the dark side of the industry we rarely see. With all the secrets Shannon has shared, it's no shock some powerful folks want his podcast shut down. Me too. Just days after Oprah publicly supported sexual assault victims after the Harvey Weinstein allegations, singer Seal posted a meme on Instagram showing Oprah kissing Weinstein. The meme said, when you've been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you're the solution. Seal captioned it, oh, I forgot. That's right. You'd heard the rumors but had no idea he was actually assaulting young actresses. My bad. Weinstein denies the claims. Seal hasn't said more, and Oprah has stayed quiet. This is a powerful time for everyone to wake up. A 17-year-old once told Diddy he didn't want to hang out anymore, saying Diddy wasn't calling like before. Diddy tried to contact him through business partners but never got his real number. Also, Rose McGowan recently called out Oprah on Twitter. She said, from being pals with Harvey Weinstein to abandoning and destroying Russell Simmons' victims, Oprah supports a sick power structure for her own gain. She is as fake as they come. 2. Remind you, music producer Russell Simmons has been accused of rape by at least 15 women. Last year, Oprah pulled out of a documentary highlighting their stories because she and the filmmakers couldn't agree on the project. About her old friendship with Harvey Weinstein, Oprah said she didn't know about the sexual assault claims, including those from Rose McGowan. She only heard that Weinstein was a bully. But Shannon Sharpe didn't just shake things up, he flipped the whole table. In his testimony, he revealed the hidden truths of the industry, pointing to secrets that many believe Diddy and Oprah wanted to keep buried. We're talking about things behind the scenes that never reach the press. The kind of secrets powerful people spend years and millions of dollars trying to hide. Here's where it gets even more explosive. Oprah's reaction. Sources say behind closed doors, she's panicking. Not the calm, cool mogul we see on TV, but someone deeply shaken. Trying hard to control the damage. People say she's been making urgent calls, gathering her team, and doing everything possible to keep the story from spreading. Because Shannon didn't just shake a few cages, he may have opened an entire vault of secrets. Now, with the whole world watching, the pressure is huge, if even part of what Shannon hinted at is true. This could be the start of a big wreck, just for Diddy or Oprah, but for an entire system built on silence, power, and protection. In a clip, Diddy says to a young man, "You're acting different, huh? You haven't been calling or hanging out like before." The young man replies that Diddy tried to contact him through business partners but never got his number. Diddy asks for it, and the young man agrees to give it. In the same interview, Shannon talked about the challenges he's faced since his Cat Williams interview went viral. He even talked with Cam Newton about why celebrities feel comfortable sharing secrets on his podcast. When Monique called out Oprah, it cracked her polished image. It became clear Oprah struggles when people demand accountability instead of praise. Now, with Shannon testifying about secrets Oprah would rather keep hidden, the pressure has skyrocketed. Insiders say she's not just reacting, she's overreacting. Her efforts to control the story feel more like desperation. From secret phone calls to silence in the media, she's trying everything to keep the truth from coming out. But the more she tries to control things, the more people ask, what is she really hiding? This is more than just celebrity drama. It's a legacy being challenged in real time. Oprah's image isn't untouchable anymore, it's under fire. People are wondering if the public will forgive Diddy. But it seems the public is already canceling him. Surprisingly, none of Diddy's famous friends have spoken out to defend him. Why? Because they don't want to risk their own reputations. They all went to Diddy's parties, the after parties, the hotel lobbyist, but none of them want to ruin their brands by speaking up. I watched a news segment on Channel 2 in New York with Gayle King and Nate. They showed footage of Diddy's apology after he was caught hitting Cassie. They said they had commentary, but then cut to commercial and never came back to say anything else. That shows how much power he still holds. People still support him because he's connected with Oprah, Weinstein, Epstein. He ran with that whole powerful crew. As for working hard, remember, it's a team effort. Big bills come with this work. And teams get paid a cut, sometimes 30% of what you earn before taxes. So even when you break barriers, when it's time to negotiate, you can still end up at the bottom. It's tiring, Shannon said in a recent interview. I knew telling the truth would have consequences, but I didn't expect this kind of ripple effect. Everyone's watching to see how far Diddy and Oprah will go to protect their secrets. He also explained that before every interview, he tells guests they don't have to discuss anything they don't want to, which helps them open up. I asked Shannon, is there anything you avoid talking about? He said sometimes guests ask to skip certain topics, and he respects that. He believes people can tell their stories without being negative. Shannon also mentioned how Gayle King once confronted him about a feud with Oprah. When I asked where he stands with them now, he said he likes both but had questions about why certain people were chosen for my two documentaries. He pointed out that while the president has many accusations, no documentaries focus on him. And he thinks Weinstein was bigger in entertainment scandals than others, who he called easy victims. All right, that's it. One thing's for sure. Shannon Sharpe is not backing down. His popularity has only grown because he stays committed to telling the truth, even when big names, like Diddy and Oprah, try to silence him. Now, some wild rumors have been flying. People say Shannon went live on Instagram and beat up a cat. Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds crazy. And honestly, no one knows if it's even true or just someone trying to drag his name through the mud. But the rumor got viral just because it's so bizarre. Through all this chaos, Shannon and his team stayed cool. Instead of responding to the crazy cat story, they dropped a teaser for his new show. Side dish, they promised a recap of the VMAs and some spicy behind-the-scenes stories. No mention of cats. No panic. Just business as usual. Whether this rumor is a distraction or just the internet doing its thing, one thing is clear: Shannon Sharpe isn't going anywhere. And Side Dish looks like it's going to serve up way more than just celebrity gossip. At one point, the host joked about wanting starter pistols like the ones used in marathons just to make things interesting, then talked about an air horn instead. They even mentioned some inside jokes about their staff and corporate life that only the true fans would get. The show kicked off on a Thursday, what they call 48-hour Friday, and they checked in with each other about their day. One of them shared how he went to a fast charging station because his electric car didn't charge overnight. While there, he ended up having a long chat with another person charging their car. By the time he got back home, his gym session was already missed, but he still managed to get some work done. Later, the conversation shifted to more serious stuff. Former inmate and founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants, Larry Levine, joined the show to talk about harsh jail conditions like mice, maggots, violence, and power outages. Larry shared his experience from spending 10 years in 11 different prisons. Back to the Oprah and Diddy drama. Someone said to Oprah, "If you think I did something wrong." "No, Oprah, it's not what I think. You did do something wrong. You planned to have my parents on your show without telling me. Was it just for ratings? It seemed like you were using me." There are some strong women in the industry who stand their ground. Regina King, Angela Bassett, Lynn Whitfield, and Curry Washington were all there that night. And speaking of interesting company, someone mentioned they have a dog and a cat with some very unique names. Guess what? One of those names is Oprah. Okay, so the cat's name is Oprah, and the dog is named Gail. Funny, right? Despite the serious charges against Diddy, things like trafficking and forced labor, he still looked calm when he greeted his family, waving and smiling. I was also at MDC Los Angeles, which is basically a copy of the MDC in New York. I know the place well. Right now, Diddy is in solitary confinement, what they call the shoe, or the hole. He's dealing with loneliness, anxiety, and desperation. They have him on suicide watch. And they hand out psychiatric meds, like candy, to inmates, to help them cope. Basically, he's stuck in a tiny cell all day with nothing but his thoughts. Shannon Sharpe has been banned from several platforms. For example, he tried to appear on The View, but the producers said some hosts didn't like his views, so he wasn't invited. He also said he's been excluded from Oprah's shows. You'd think Oprah would want to support him. He grew up in South Central, made it big early, speaks honestly, and carries himself with dignity. But no, he's been left out. He mentioned he wasn't even invited to join the cast for Barbershop, and produced a controversial show called Black White, which probably didn't help. Back to the courtroom. Prosecutors have seized a huge amount of evidence, 96 electronic devices from multiple locations, as part of the investigation. Diddy is allowed to shower only 3 times a week and doesn't get real visits. His lawyer has to visit him upstairs in special housing. There are rumors about commissary items like ribeye steaks that he supposedly can buy. But that's not true because he's in solitary. One of the people who really gets affected by this is Justin Bieber. There was an awkward moment where Kevin Hart joked about waking up next to Justin when he was a kid, then changed it to say they fought over Frosted Flakes cereal. Kevin even seemed uncomfortable because it sounded weird. They joked about not sitting on the bed or getting too close during the live stream. They reminisced about growing up, how they used to wrestle over Frosted Flakes when they were kids, before pause became a thing in conversations. Now, Justin Bieber is one of the richest people in the world. Someone overheard Puff Daddy say this on a live stream, and people were shocked. It was a funny moment, but also strange. Diddy is now locked up in the Brooklyn Detention Center, and there's no sign his legal troubles will end soon. The stakes are high, and his lawyers face a tough fight. Since he's in special housing, he can't buy regular commissary items, which is tough on him. I wondered how other inmates treat him, especially since people accused of hurting women or kids usually don't get along in prison, but since no minors are involved here, it might be different. If Diddy ends up in general population, how will things go for him? Oh, and Kevin Hart just closed all 4 of his vegan restaurants in California. After just 2 years, even though they were doing well. Kim Kardashian even tweeted about how good his meatless burgers were. Some wonder if this timing has anything to do with Diddy's arrest, but fact-checkers say Kevin closed the restaurants days before Diddy's arrest. So maybe it's just a coincidence. Still, Kevin and Diddy are close friends, so maybe Kevin knew something was coming. Diddy reportedly moved back to New York about 11 days before his arrest, possibly because he expected federal authorities to come after him. Given their friendship, he probably warned Kevin. This whole case has grabbed national attention, from courtroom drama to arguments over bail. This trial could be one of the biggest in recent memory, with rumors of even more shocking revelations to come. We'll keep following it closely. After reading the 14-page indictment, it's clear that many people in Hollywood are probably nervous, wondering which Diddy parties they attended and what really happened there. That doesn't mean everyone was involved in the crimes, but if you were at those parties, you might be worried. Some people have even tried to bribe me with millions to do things I didn't want to do, and they were right there in the room. I just had to say no and wait for the right moment to speak out. You want me to keep talking about this? Sure, I can. But honestly, some things are better left unsaid. Still, one thing is clear, the people who used to go to Diddy's wild parties are probably sweating right now, and some could even get called in by the feds. I remember saying, everyone come on over to the house, but it's not a crime to just attend a party. However, several civil lawsuits accuse that sex crimes happened during those parties. I can't say too much about that. The big question now is, could people like Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Kelly Osbourne, Justin Bieber, and Usher get questioned by federal investigators? Oh man, I even lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year, and there were some pretty curious things going on. Anyone who showed up at Diddy's parties over the years should be worried. If you're rich and powerful and went to those parties, better have a good lawyer ready because the feds might come knocking. Recently, all of Usher's tweets disappeared from Twitter, making people wonder if it's connected to Diddy's case. Right now, Diddy is locked up at the Brooklyn Detention Center. The court refused to grant him bail. A $50 million bail wasn't enough because they think he might try to run. The U.S. Attorney's Office says some big names could be called as witnesses or even face charges if they were at these parties, especially if they didn't know what was happening behind closed doors. If you were there or involved, expect a call. They want all the details and might want you to testify. We're just scratching the surface of this case, and the investigation is still open. There could be more charges against Diddy and others. Usually, when the feds find more people involved, or who know something, they bring them in and say, cooperate, or you could face charges too. This is going to be a long, slow case. The trial probably won't start before next year. Meanwhile, Diddy's problems are getting worse as the investigation goes on. His defense team is preparing for a long fight. I talked to Amber's mom, and she's heartbroken. The pain a parent feels is unimaginable. She kept saying the word preventable over and over. In Hollywood, Diddy's parties were a terrible but well-known secret. If I were a famous person who took part in those acts, I'd be scared. I'd be calling my lawyer right now. At best, you're a witness. At worst, you're a co-defendant. Some thought the feds were waiting to arrest Diddy because they were building cases against others too. Turns out that wasn't true. But reports say the feds have already spoken to at least 50 witnesses, some of whom probably participated. People are hoping the rich and famous will finally face consequences, instead of slipping away like in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Sure, it's a different situation. But many criticized Epstein's case because none of the rich, powerful people involved were punished. Even Epstein got a light deal, likely because of his wealth and connections. If other celebrities were involved in Diddy's case, they shouldn't get a free pass just because of money or fame. The U.S. Attorney's Office is clearly focused on Diddy, but if others were involved, they should be held accountable too. But then something unexpected happened. A mother stood up and shared her heartbreaking story. Her daughter died because of Georgia's strict abortion laws. She believes that death could have been prevented. The whole room went silent. No applause, no noise, just the heavy weight of the truth. It stopped being about politics or slogans, and became about real families suffering because their rights were taken away. The grief in that mother's voice touched everyone deeply. Even Oprah, known for her calm and poise, looked shaken. Kamala paused for a moment before continuing, clearly moved by what she heard. This wasn't just another rally, it became something deeply human. It became a reckoning, a wake-up call, a painfully real reminder that behind every law, there are lives affected, and sometimes, lives lost. In a few states, laws have been passed that criminalize healthcare providers, threatening doctors and nurses with life sentences for simply providing care. That moment was one of the most emotional of the entire event. Oprah was in tears. Many people in the audience were crying too. It brought me back to the Oprah Winfrey everyone had welcomed into their homes for decades. Oprah Winfrey and Vice President Kamala Harris took the stage in Michigan with a clear mission: to energize support for reproductive rights and make headlines while doing it. But no one expected the event to take such a raw, emotional turn that left the whole room breathless. What began as a polished, rehearsed political gathering with lights, applause, and sound bites suddenly shifted when a mother stood up. Her voice cracked as she shared her story. Her daughter had died because of Georgia's harsh abortion laws. A death she believed could have been prevented. The room, which moments before had been full of energy, fell completely silent. No applause, no noise, just the heavy weight of truth hanging in the air. Suddenly, it was no longer about party lines or campaign slogans. It was about the real, devastating consequences of legislation that strips families of their right to choose. The grief in that mother's voice cut through the politics and landed directly in people's hearts. Even Oprah, known for her grace under pressure, looked visibly shaken. Kamala paused before continuing, clearly moved by the moment. What was meant to be just another rally lost its political polish and became something far more human. This was no ordinary event. It became a reckoning, a wake-up call, a stark reminder that behind every law are real lives. And sometimes, those lives are lost.